Looks like we're all ready. So come onto your backs and just let your legs either bend or be straight. Might be more comfortable for you to have your legs out and wide, or the lower back may like it better if your knees are bent. See what's going to work for you. Good. And we're going to just start developing our yogic breath. Let's place one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. And we'll focus on the hand that's on the belly. It's nice to close the eyes. It kind of helps us focus inward a little bit more. And just feel the inhale expanding the belly out against the palm of your hand. When you exhale, the belly relaxes down. Inhale, the belly expands out. Really let the belly be soft and relaxed so that it fills and empties, expands and contracts as you breathe. Good. Now, bring the breath from the belly into the space between the hands so that you also feel the ribs expanding. And we'll do this in two parts. So first the belly expands, and then instead of going right to the exhale, keep the inhale going until you feel that space between the hands and the ribs starting to expand. And then you can exhale all the air out, feeling the belly contract, coming in toward the spine. Breathing in two parts. First the belly, then the ribs. The exhale is in the reverse order of the inhale. So first we exhale out of the ribs and then the belly. Okay, now we'll complete the breath by starting in the belly, continuing the inhale into the ribs and the space between the hands, and then all the way up into the hand at the chest. Use your hand as a guide. See if you can feel that vibration, that sensation. Our lungs are the smallest up here at the top, so it may feel harder to breathe in the chest. That's fine. Practice makes it easier. And then, as with before, the exhale is in the reverse order of the inhale. First the chest, then the ribs, then the belly. See if you can feel the three distinct parts of the breath as you take the air in. and yet let it flow smoothly from belly to ribs to chest. Exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. And then see if you can release your hands and maintain the breath, just as we've been practicing it. Belly, ribs, chest. And if you're not already on your back, please join us on your back. And then lift the bent knees and bring your hands onto your knees. And notice how you've already lost track of your breath. So the key to the practice, what makes yoga yoga and not just stretching, is the relationship between our body, our breath, and our minds. So yoga basically means yoking, this coming together of our experience. So we want to use the breath as our anchor throughout the entire practice. We're going to try to maintain that yogic breath. And that's always going to be there, and it's always going to be something that we can help our minds stay present to. So if we lose the breath, our mind is likely to go somewhere else. So always feeling the breath and working with the breath, and then we layer the different exercises on top of the breath. So we're going to start with a simple movement that just warms up the hips, circling the knees around in opposite directions from each other. So they're mirroring each other. They're not moving as one unit, they're moving as two, and the hands can be on the knees, and that kind of helps rotate the knees. And see if the movement is coordinating with the breath. It may make sense for you to inhale when the legs are wider, exhale when the knees come into the chest. But if it doesn't make sense to your body, don't change anything. Do what feels right to you. And then let's change the direction of the knees. Circle them the other way. Inhaling deep, exhaling slow. And then the next time the knees come out to the side, we're going to hold them there. And just let the weight of the knees be nice and heavy. You might want to rest your hands on top of your legs to create more weight and heaviness. Or you might want to rest your legs in your hands to give yourself something to surrender into, whatever feels most supportive to you, to let those knees fall open and out to the sides. And then feel the breath coming in and out. And notice where you feel the sensations of the breath. every position that we put our bodies in is going to create a different set of sensations. Some will create different mind states. Some will feel good, some will not feel good. Some might bring up fear, some might bring up joy. Just stay connected to whatever your experience is. Try not to make it any certain way. Just let it be. Okay. And then bring the knees together. Hug the left knee closer into the chest and straighten the right leg out. So use your hands to hug that left knee in and straighten the right leg out along the ground. Just let it rest. And then flex the right foot. Keep the left knee in. Keep the right leg straight. Left knee in, right leg straight. And we're just flexing the right foot. And then feel the breath. Good. So we're not switching from side to side. We're staying in one side, holding the left knee in and keeping the right leg straight. And then circle that right foot around at the ankle, nice and slow, and just feel the sensation of the circling. Notice where you feel that in your body. Stay connected to your breath. Deep inhale. Exhaling, reversing the circle in the other direction. Good. Now take that bent leg and lift it straight up in the air. Clasping your hands behind the back of your leg. And point and flex that upraised foot. Pressing up through the heel and then through the toes. Back and forth. And then hold the flex position. Take a nice, long, slow breath in. And now take even more air in. Add on to it. And then exhale deeply, pulling the belly down toward the spine. And try to draw that leg in closer to the body. And we'll do that double inhale, a full inhale, all the air in, and then at the top of that inhale, take another extra sip of air. Exhale, pull the belly in toward the spine and see if you can draw that leg closer in. So it's not a forcing. What happens is that when we exhale, we naturally relax if we allow that. And then when you draw the belly in toward the spine, you can see if that motion creates a little bit of a rock in the interior of the pelvis that might allow, along with the relaxation, that leg to come in. Good. 2 more breaths here. Okay. Now release your hands and slowly lower the leg to the ground, using your abdominal muscles to maintain control of the leg as you lower slowly. And once the leg does come to the ground, hug the right knee into the chest. If you hug the right knee into the chest and you realize, wait a minute, I just did this side, you realize that you did the right side already, then just do the left side now. No big deal. And we'll straighten the one leg and flex that foot, and then we'll let the other foot be relaxed. So the foot that's in the air is relaxed, and the foot that's on the ground is active, pulling the toes toward the face. And we just feel the breath here, letting the belly rise and feeling how the belly moves toward the thigh on the inhale. And the belly comes down and the thigh comes in toward the belly on the exhale. The knee is bent deeply. You might want to clasp your hands around the outside of the knee or shin. And notice the relationship between this shape that your body's in and the breath. So compared to how when you started, maybe you're noticing something's different. Like maybe the breath is deeper on the side where the leg isn't bent than on the side where the leg is bent. Maybe you're actually more aware of the breath on the side where the leg is bent because of its contact with that leg. Just see what you experience as you breathe. And then we'll circle that upraised foot at the ankle. Feeling the sensations. And reverse directions. Good. And let the foot rest and lift that leg straight up in the air. So the knee that was just bent, take that leg and bring it straight up, holding behind the back of the leg. And point and flex. Push up through the heel, lengthen out through the toes. Find the rhythm of your breath and see if the movement wants to coordinate with the rhythm of the breath. It may not, doesn't matter to me. Just investigate. Be curious. Am I breathing and moving together? And then when the foot comes into the flex position, hold that position. And take a nice deep breath in, filling the lungs. And then exhale, pull the belly down toward the spine and see if that straight leg wants to relax in toward you a little bit more. You can use your hands to guide that relaxation response to a deeper stretch, but don't pull. Rising and falling of breath. Feeling the tension building. And then the relaxation as the tension releases on the exhale. You can't make the relaxation happen, but feel for it. And then release the hands and slowly lower the leg with control using your abdominal muscles. And once the leg comes down, you can take a moment just to feel the breath again in the stillness of the body. And then roll yourself over onto either side. And then pressing with your hands, lift yourself up and flip yourself over onto hands and knees. Coming into a table position where the four legs of the table bear the weight equally. If your hands want to be in fists, that might be easier on the wrists. Feel free. And we're going to come back to that deep, slow breath, particularly aware of the movement from the belly to the chest again, as we move the spine in that same wave. So as you inhale, the belly dips down, the ribs expand, and then the chest lifts as you look up toward the sky. As you exhale, curl the tailbone down, lift the belly, lift the ribs, drop the head down. That's your cat pose. Your exhale is a rounded back. Your inhale is an arched back. And you'll go at the rhythm of your own breath, coordinating the spine. Now notice, what is actually setting the timing here? Are you taking the full time that it takes to breathe in and breathe out? Or are you letting how long it takes you to move your spine dictate your pace? Just notice, just be aware. What's leading and what's following? Good. And then we'll come back to stillness, back to our table pose. And we'll bring lots of weight into the right hand. And we'll bring the left arm forward. And then extend right leg back behind you, parallel to the ground, just as the left arm is parallel to the ground. And keep your gaze straight down at the floor. It's very common to want to look up in front of you, but we want to have a nice straight spine, including in the neck. So looking straight down, and then lift the belly to support the spine. And as you inhale, reach forward through the fingers and back through the toes. And then bend your back leg. Reach your left hand for your right foot. Some of you may not reach. If you have a piece of clothing handy and you want to wrap it around the foot, you might come to class next time with a belt or a strap of some sort or a tie. That might help. But if you have your foot, kick it up. And if you don't have your foot, that's fine. Just continue to reach back. We're really working just on opening the chest. So look over your left shoulder. And then you might want to close your eyes and better be able to connect with how the breath is. Expand all the way into the chest. And then release that left hand down and step the right foot out to the side so that the right leg is straight on a diagonal. And then walk your hands in to roll yourself up. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, come down to the right, reaching the left arm overhead. So one leg is bent, one leg is straight. And our hand is resting on the straight leg. And then as you exhale, see if you can surrender into gravity. And maybe your hand slides down a little bit more. And feel how the breath feels inside this shape. Can you feel the breath under those left ribs? Good. And then inhale and lift up. Exhale and bring that left hand to the left heel. And if it doesn't reach, curl your toes under. That'll lift the heel a little bit higher. And if it still doesn't reach, no problem. Just have your left hand come to your left hip. So it's either going to look like this, the foot part, this, or you're just going to do this. That's fine too. The other hand comes up and we lean back. Opening the chest, opening the lungs. Staying with your intention to breathe deeply, noticing if it's challenging, noticing where it's challenging, noticing what your mind is doing. See if you're telling yourself any stories about your experience, making yourself right, making yourself wrong. Try to let that part go. Good. And then lift yourself up. Bring the hands back to the ground. And step that straight leg forward. Bend into your knee. Front knee bends deeply. So whichever leg was straight before, that's the leg that's now in the front. Good. And then we're just going to lower down. Let your head drop down. Let your elbows bend. For some of you, the elbows will come down. Doesn't matter if it does or if it doesn't. Just let yourself fall into gravity here. The front big toe stays on the floor. Your head is hanging heavy. Your hips are forward. Let your hips come forward as if they're trying to drop toward the floor. How's the breath? And then press yourself up. Send your knee back. Sit on your heels for a moment. If you have problems with your knees and you're not able to sit on your heels, then you can just stay on hands and knees if you want, or You can sit cross-legged if you prefer. Good. Just feeling the breath again. Sometimes it's helpful if we want to maintain our connection to the breath while we do the exercises, to take some moments of just breathing, where that's the only thing we pay attention to just re-strengthen our connection there. And then we'll come back onto hands and knees. Balancing the weight across all four legs of the table. We'll start by extending the right arm forward and then straightening the left leg back behind you. If you can, lift the leg so that it's parallel to the ground, just as the front arm is. And lift the belly to support the spine and keep your gaze straight down. Feel the breath expanding from your center out as you reach through your limbs. And then bend your back leg, your left leg, reach your right hand back for your foot. If you can grab hold of it, grab hold of it. If not, just keep reaching back behind you so that you're still in the same shape. And then if you have the foot, kick it up and push it back. That's just to accentuate the opening of the shoulder and chest. You can look over your right shoulder. And maybe again, closing the eyes if that feels safe to you. Your balance may prefer that your eyes are open. How's the breath now? Where is it in the body? Good, and release the hand and step that left foot out to the side. Walk your hands in, roll yourself up. Reach up, inhale. Exhale down to the left, hand comes onto the straight leg, and the upraised arm reaches over the head, also toward the left. And as you inhale, really reach, try to stretch the ribs on the right side. See if you can make space between the hips and the ribs. Feel that space between the bones, breathing. As you exhale, can you let go a little bit more? Let the weight of your body be heavy. And inhale, lift the arm up. Exhale, reach back and try to find your heel. Curl the toes under if that helps make the heel a little more accessible, or just bring the hand onto the hip if the heel isn't within reach. Letting the hips come forward, the chest lift up, lift the left arm up and back behind you. So the body is nice and open. And notice how it feels to be open. Most of the time, our bodies are hunched over, especially if you're working at a desk or at a computer, and it becomes habitual, and it becomes harder and harder to open. Physically, energetically, emotionally, opening is very different than our normal way of moving through the world. So it's okay to feel the challenge in that. And breathing into it can make it even more challenging. So just notice if the breath wants to be really shallow here. That's fine. Just be aware This is how it is. And then lift yourself up, bring the hands back to the ground, and step the foot forward, that left foot. Bend into the front knee and let the hips drop down. So you're aiming your right hip for your left heel. And then the body is at the inside of the foot and the elbows bend to let the body release down. The head completely drops down. Coming all the way down onto the elbows for those who can. Maybe stacking the hands with fists to let the head rest on the hands feels nice to you. Maybe the idea of something feeling nice in this pose seems absurd. Opening the hips can be really intense sometimes. So just try to focus on your breath as something that stabilizes you and reminds you of your well-being in this moment. And then lift yourself up. Send your leg back. Have a rest one more time, sitting on the heels or any other way that feels better to your body. If it helps you to have one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest to remind you of that breathing, you're always welcome to go there. And then we'll come back up onto hands and knees. One more time. And this time, bring the hands a little bit forward, about one hand's length in front of you. So the hands are no longer directly under the shoulders, but out in front of the shoulders. And spread the fingers wide. Curl the toes under. And then when you take your next inhale, lift your knees off the ground so your weight is in your hands. And then as you exhale, push forward with your hands so that you're sending your sit bones, your buttocks, back. As if you're trying to line your buttocks over your heels. Your knees are still bent, so your ribs are folding close to your thighs. Relax your head down. And then slowly straighten your right leg, pressing your right foot to the ground. Your left knee is still bent. Your ribs are dropping toward your left thigh. And you're pushing forward into all 10 fingers, creating length from the fingers to the sit bones. And then pressing down through the heel. I like to do this in 2 parts. So for me, on the inhale, I feel the lengthening from the hands to the buttocks. Inhales are naturally lengthening, so that works for my body to think of it that way. And then on the exhale, which is naturally release, I try to just let the weight of the heel be heavy and come down. Also on the exhale, pulling the belly in toward the spine, kind of like we did in the very beginning. Pulling the belly in kind of helps get a little more stretch out of that straight leg. Okay, now we'll change and bend the right knee and sink the ribs toward the right thigh. And straighten the left leg and press the left heel down. Inhale, pushing all 10 fingers forward. Sending your buttocks back, lengthening through the torso. Exhale, pressing down through the heel. Good. And then bring both knees down. We'll come into a child's pose to rest for a moment. So that means you're sitting on your feet, but then you're folding your body over your thighs, letting your head come down. If your head does not touch the floor in this position, then bring your palms or your fists under your forehead so that your head can rest. If your head doesn't need your hands, then fold your arms alongside your body so that your thumbs are near your feet. And then notice how the breathing finds space in this shape. The belly can hardly move, the ribs can hardly move, the chest can hardly move. So where does that deep inhale expand your body? Where does the exhale relax your body? Now extend the arms overhead one more time. Coming up off the feet so that you're in that kind of extended table position. Curl the toes under again as you inhale, lift the knees. Exhale, push your buttocks back as though you're trying to line your buttocks over your heels, and then straighten both legs, taking your full downward facing dog position. Focus on the index fingers and thumbs and push them into the ground. And then on the exhale, move the fronts of the thighs toward the backs of the thighs. Inhale, fingers press forward. Exhale, thighs press back. Belly comes in. Good. One more breath here. And then start to walk the feet forward, all the way up toward the hands. Coming all the way up to standing. Good. Feeling your feet on the ground. Feeling your head lifting up toward the sky. Let's take the arms up. Pull the shoulders down into the back. Feel that downward motion of the arm bones, helping feet feel grounded. Bring your attention to your feet. Feel your feet heavy on the earth. And lift up tall through the fingertips, through the crown of the head. Feel your breath moving from your belly to your ribs, to your chest. Good. And then release the arms down. Steady your breath. Steady your attention on your breath. And then shift your weight into your left foot so that your head lines up over your left foot. And then reach the left arm up. Really important here to really focus on your breath. That's going to help you tremendously. Let your eyes open and find a spot on the floor, and don't move your eyes off that spot. That will also help. So those are your two tools that you have for keeping your balance. Keeping your eyes still and keeping your mind still on the breath. We're going to lift that right foot up, doing the same pose that we did earlier on our hands and knees, bringing the right hand around the right foot. And if you cannot reach your hand to your foot, again, if you have a strap or something that can wrap around that foot that you can hold on to, that's great. If not, just be in that position so that you're still practicing the balance with your left foot on the ground and your right knee bent. And for those of you who are holding on to your foot, we're going to kick it back, just like we did earlier. Now there's a tendency to want to start to hinge forward at the hips. Resist that. And instead, continue to reach up through that left hand. So even just a simple variation where you're standing on one leg and just have the other leg bent behind you is fine. Just practicing the balance in that way will serve you. Let's always do some baby steps here. So moving into it very slowly, focusing on your breath, focusing your eyes. Having that left hand lifted might help you, but if you need it elsewhere to balance, that's fine too. Good. Let's come down. Stand with the eyes closed. Notice if the mind has become agitated. That part's extra. Let that go. Just stay with what's here right now. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your breath in your body. If your mind is on the pose that just was, let that go. If you're already thinking about the next side, let that go. Just be here. Feeling the breath, feeling the feet. And then shift your weight into your right foot, lining your head up over your right foot. Open your eyes softly, finding a spot. Usually the floor is helpful, but if you can find a spot on the wall in front of you, that's great. And then lift the right arm up and feel that long straight line from your right foot to your right hand. And then lift the left foot up. Take hold of the foot with your hand. Now, if you do this and you forget to breathe, your balance will suffer. So you want to always maintain, first and foremost, the steady, slow breath. And then with the ease of your breath, kind of move with it. You can't trick yourself into balancing by going fast. It doesn't work that way. Take your time. Feel your standing leg on the ground. Spot yourself with your gaze point and don't let your eyes wander. If you start to feel your balance suffering, focus even more with your eyes. Focus even more on your breath. And if you're holding your foot and your balance is fine, kick the leg back. Every time you fall out of the pose is an opportunity to begin again. You can celebrate that. Good. And release down. Find stillness. Close the eyes. Feel the feet. Feel the breath. Train your mind to be in this moment. Nothing is happening now except an experience of sensations, movement, on your next inhale, float your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Let your body be heavy. Scoop your belly in as you exhale. Breathe slow, long, and deep. And then bend your knees. Lower your buttocks to the ground. Keep your knees bent and come back onto your back. Take the arms out to the side like a T. Lift your feet in the air so that the knees bend a little bit more. And then drop the knees to the left. Turn your head to the right. And then relax your left hip down into the earth. Feel the heaviness of your bones. Whole body, breathing in, breathing out. And then as a unit, lift the knees up and bring them over to the other side. Turning your head to the left, knees to the right. Feeling the weight of your hip heavy on the ground. Surrender that heaviness into the earth. Feeling the lightness of the breath contrasting with the heaviness of the bones. And then lift the knees to center. Bring the hands to the knees, hug the knees to the chest. Lift your forehead to your knees, squeeze yourself into a tight little ball and squeeze all the air out. And then lower your head and feet down. Lift your tailbone just to tuck it under and bring it right back down. And straighten the legs out. Shake the legs out, kind of windshield wipering the feet in and out, just letting the legs be loose. Let the palms rest out away from the body, facing up. And close the eyes. Just laying on your back with your eyes closed. So you're on your back. I'm sitting up because I'm watching you guys, but you're laying down on your back. Laying flat on your back. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, releasing the weight of the body into the earth. In through the nose, out through the mouth, releasing the weight of the jaw, feeling the space between your upper teeth and your lower teeth, the lips slightly parted, the mouth relaxed. And then one more deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, letting go of the contents of your mind, letting go of thoughts, letting go of images, letting go of memories, just bringing your awareness to the feeling of your breath and letting go of your breath. Even your breath is relaxed. No effort to breathe. Just letting breath breathe however it does, in and out. Feeling the breath, releasing the body, deeply relaxed. Letting go, letting go, letting go. Breathe into your heart. Move the fingers and the toes. Reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath. Stretch long. Hug the knees to the chest. Then rock from side to side. Massaging your back with the ground. And come center. Open the knees out to the side so that the bottoms of the feet can touch each other. Bring the palms together. Rub hand to hand and foot to foot. And then roll over onto either side, letting your head rest on your underside arm. Letting your body rest in the ground. Feeling the support of the earth. Feeling the support of your practice today and how you feel as a result. Maybe smile into your heart with a sense of gratitude for your effort, your willingness to show up, for your willingness to be imperfect. And then slowly press yourself up to sitting, coming into any comfortable seated position, whatever works for you. Feeling the sit bones sinking down and the spine lifting tall. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, the palms together at the heart. Inhale, the heart up to the hands. Exhale, shoulders relax down. Inhale deeply, filling from bottom to top. Take it all in. Let it all go. Drop the chin to the chest. Bowing to that place of peace and light within yourself and within all of us. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with us today. Enjoy the rest of your day.